A sense of wonder and a love for beauty infuse the photos of today's guest artist. His ability to find the unusual in the usual produces some amazing images. From wide-angle landscapes to macro universes, this photographer gives us new ways to look at the world. On this edition of Art Now, we'll look at the work of Jorge Amaya.
Hi, welcome to Art Now, a program where we talk to artists whose work is part of our community. I'm Pat Sammann, and I'll be your host. Our guest today is photographer Jorge Amaya. Born in Cali, Colombia in 1958, he and his family moved to Miami in 1960. He has lived in Urbana since 1990 with his wife of 25 years and his two sons. A self-taught photographer with a bachelor's degree from Eastern Illinois University, Mr. Amaya has been an avid photographer for over 45 years. While primarily a landscape photographer, he also is known for his macro and abstract work. His current emphasis is on light painting. Mr. Amaya also is the owner and creative director of Ampride Communications Incorporated, a marketing communications company based in Champaign. He is the publisher for the Community Concierge magazine, a local magazine that highlights the best in our community. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Now, most people know you as George, but you've chosen to use your given name, Jorge, to sign your works. How did that come about?
So that was a personal decision I made when I realized a long time ago that unlike some of my other creative work, I do a bit of writing and woodworking, photography is something I believe I was born with, something I had an eye for ever since I was young. And when I did my show, I don't know how many years ago, first show I did maybe 30 years ago, I just had this realization. I thought, well, you know what, these need to be signed Jorge Amaya, not George. And so I've stuck with it. And since in the Midwest, it's become a good marketing angle with differentiating myself from other photographers and a tagline, passionate perspective, which is, I also have a ghost image too on some of my marketing work, which is perspectiva apasionada.
So it fits right in with it.
And I think that in thinking about it, at the recommendation of some friends, it just seemed to fit. Mm-hmm. My work I like to think has a lot of that Latin passion, Latin flavor in it. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that strikes me as I look at your work is your incredible ability to notice and capture the textures and colors of the surroundings. Since you're self-taught, how did you develop that ability?
Genetics. It's genetics. That's a hard one. I mean, I always tell people who want to learn to be better photographers, I always say, it absolutely is a 10,000-hour rule. Right. It's like with anything else. I've been doing it long enough that, and I'll tell you, I look back at some of my early work, and there were definitely some nice pieces that I still like, but there were some that I say, oh my God, who was that? Who took that picture? But part of it, I think, also is about being in the moment. Okay. And it's about, in the broad expanse of a scene, to be able to differentiate a very particular, light or shapes or composition. Mm-hmm. My family laughs at me because we'll be driving down the road and I'll go, wow, look at that. And they see that, and I'm seeing that. Right. And where it comes from? Yeah. It's anybody's guess.
Yeah, well, I know that you mentioned in your artist statement that photography is about what not to put into a picture.
Yeah, you know what, that's a statement I use in particular to help people understand. Again, when I get a lot of people that ask me, well, how do I do a better picture? And the classic example is that family picture on vacation. Okay. Where you have this huge picture, and there's the family, and they're about 1/100th of the picture. Mm-hmm. Well, now if you want to take a picture of the Grand Canyon, that's a good composition. But if your objective is to take pictures of the family, of the birthday boy in front of the birthday cake, you don't need the whole room, you don't need the walls, you don't need the ceiling fans. You need to get in. Right. and really, and focus on what your subject is, on what your intent really is.
Right.
And there's always extraneous imagery and information and colors and stuff that'll distract you from attempting to tell the story that you want to tell with that particular photograph.
Right. Okay, your most well-known work is your landscapes, and this first one is Frosted Sycamore.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to say a bit about it?
Yeah, that's, so people know, those are the sycamores behind the I Hotel.
Yeah.
That are lit
I thought
up.
they might be, yeah.
Yes, and I have, I should start with a precursor of letting people know that I have some rather significant sleep problems. So I don't sleep a lot.
Okay.
And you'll often catch me wandering at 2, 3 in the morning. I know a lot of police officers. I've become very friendly with them. And I have seen those sycamores for many, many years. I've actually photographed those sycamores easily 15 years. Mm-hmm. Easily 15 years. Mm-hmm. And for 15 years, I've had the challenge of trying to capture them in the right balance, in the right composition, in the right time. And one of the challenges is sycamores are so white, and those trees in particular are lit up. Mm-hmm. So at night, what you have is this very sharp contrast.
Yeah.
Dark, dark night, white trees. It just doesn't quite get it. And mm-hmm. for years, I've been tackling this problem. Mm-hmm. And so 4 years ago or so, I was really intent, knowing that they were going to build some more buildings out there, the new Yahoo building.
Right, yeah.
Very intent, I had to capture this. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, whenever I wake up, the first thing I do is I look at the weather report mm-hmm. on my phone. And I woke up and it was a foggy night. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me, bing, that's exactly what I needed.
Okay.
The fog is going to diffract the light.
Yep.
And so what it does is it really evens it out. And in the background is this golden hue. And what that really is, those are lights from Savoy.
Oh,
those
okay.
are all those mercury vapor,
right.
Street lights.
Yeah.
Just diffused in the fog.
Yeah. Which
gave me absolutely, the tonal values that I needed to get this shot. And then, and because I'd been there, I mean, I went after this shot for 3 winters, I think, before I got this shot.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, I knew exactly where I was going to stand. I mean, I've already shot that. I have probably thousands of pictures of these trees.
Well, this one did it.
Persistence.
Okay. This next one is Snowscape.
Snowscapes.
Almost black and white.
Yeah, well, it is. It actually is a black and white.
Okay.
One of the challenges out here sometimes, I'll start with a story.
Okay.
Years ago, when I first moved out here,
mm-hmm.
I had taken this lovely picture. It was a pastel sunset, mm-hmm. A fence post, mm-hmm. And it was just a lovely shot. And for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, I blew it up, very large print, and I gave it to them. I even made the frame. Mm-hmm. And my dad, in the way some dads usually do, looked at it. He goes, "Yeah, that's a nice shot." He goes, "Hey, why don't you take pictures like that guy, that Ansel guy used to do?" Only a dad would say something like that. But knowing my dad the way I know my dad was always the type of person that says, "I know you could do better."
Yeah.
And it was these little challenges, and I remember coming back and saying, "Damn, Ansel Adams had Half Dome, he had Yosemite, he had, the West. I'm in the Midwest, there's nothing here." But really what I realized was it was lack of imagination on my part.
Yeah.
It was lack of imagination on my part.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing that landscape.
Right.
There's that landscape.
Yep.
You can, of course, it's very easy to take pictures out west. Stuff is beautiful.
Right.
Do that here.
Right.
There are a lot of, mountain ranges here. If you understand, this scene that's probably not 8 feet across.
Yeah.
Like a mountain range.
Yeah. Yeah, here's another one, and this is local too, right?
Local too. Most of these are local. Yeah, these is, and I will also say that sometimes, not with all photographs, but with some photographs, they tend to call me to do something else with them. So this obviously has a Photoshop effect.
Right.
And not that it wasn't a beautiful scene then, but there was something more that I really wanted
Yeah, this evokes a feeling much more.
Right. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
And it's riotous fall. It's exaggerated. It's over the top. It's,
Yep.
you know, because sometimes as, you know, I think I'm a competent photographer, but sometimes it's very, very difficult to really capture the feel of the moment in that late fall afternoon, in that air, you know, just as you're walking through the woods, it's kicking up dust, and there's these little streams of light here and there, and it's very, very difficult to capture that.
Yeah.
But it's also transcends the image into the feeling, into trying to evoke a particular feeling that I'm trying to capture with that.
Yeah,
and I've actually got that one
it.
over my fireplace, and I printed it up on a canvas. It's wonderful. My wife hates it, but I love it.
Oh, well, I love it too. This one, of course, is beautiful. You know,
This is Yellowstone River,
Gorgeous.
Yellowstone Valley, and that's another interesting story with this one. As you'll find out, I have a lot of interesting stories, because a lot of these pictures they're so much about the stories. When I go out, I usually try to go 2 weeks every year by myself to go take pictures someplace I haven't been, someplace I have been.
Yeah.
I was doing Yellowstone and Tetons this year, and I will take with me a lot of equipment, but I will also take topographical maps.
Oh, yeah.
And I track where the sun's going to be at any given point, so that I know I'm going to get the shot I need. There's nothing worse than being there at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, when you're paying thousands of dollars to be there to begin with.
Right.
This was close to a noon shot, 11 o'clock, quarter to 11, I think it was, is where I needed to be to get the sun where I needed to do. Now I'll do my research. I'll look at other people's photography too, to see where the angles are. I'll do reconnoiters at different times, you know, when I have the time available.
Yeah.
I'm standing there, and it's a tourist spot, probably as big as this room. Standing in the middle, you know, there's hundreds of tourists coming and going. Set up my tripod. I'm waiting for the right moment for the clouds to be in the right spot, for the light to be in the right spot. I take the picture. This gentleman to my right looks at me. He goes, "How the hell did you do that?" I just took that picture. Mine doesn't look as good as yours. And he had a camera comparable to mine, and I looked at his picture, and he was right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's, you know, just point the camera. You have enough light. You don't really need a tripod, but I like to use one. And he took a couple more pictures, and you know, the framing was different. The clouds were a little bit different. And he sat there with me. By this point, we were gathering several of the people, and his wife, of course, is nagging him, "Leave that man alone." You know, and all I could say to him was, "It's what not to put in the picture?"
Yep.
10,000 hour rule.
Right.
Have you been taking pictures for 10,000 hours? Well, keep going.
There you go. Okay. Now, on your website, you state that the Midwest offers an unobstructed palette from which to view some of the sky's best work, and I think these images show it. This first one is
definitely
limited power.
It took me 20 years to get this picture.
I believe it.
You can buy equipment that will sense the lightning coming, the infrared lightning. I don't use that. I have thousands of lightning shots at night. It's easier to shoot at night.
Yeah.
This is a daylight. And one of the things that I love about the Midwest, and though I love the mountains, I love the ocean. We don't have that here.
Right.
One of the things that occurs here as a storm blows through in the summer in particular, late summer, this is obviously with the stubble and corn stubble in the fields, is after it passes in the afternoon, because it's going east, the sun comes out and the sky turns into this slate gray palette that's just spectacular. It is just spectacular. And it'll light up the corn stubble, it'll light up barns. I have barns that look like they're orange because of the sun. And there's no adjustment in the light at all. It's just the sunset. This one in particular, I was chasing the storm, trying to get a lightning shot. And I will tell you, it was a moment of inspiration that I think God just smiled on me.
Yep.
And said, "All right, George, you've been at this for 20 years to try to get this shot. Ready?"
And you were?
And there it was.
Okay. I'm going to go through these next ones fairly quickly. This is field clouds.
Field clouds as well, after storm blowing through. This is not far from my house, an area that I shoot very frequently. It's the lack of topographical obstructions, trees, that allow you to capture something like this. It's just spectacular.
It's pretty awesome. Okay, this one is rainbow rays.
We're on a roll.
Yeah.
Rainbow rays. This was a particularly good day. I got about 5 or 6 outstanding shots this day.
That's
and
great.
It was just, the storm blew through, the light was shining. It actually looks like the light is coming up from the bottom up,
Yeah, it
doesn't
does.
it?
Yeah.
You know, that bean field in the front just offers that contrasting color of that bright green. Yeah, you know, I like to say I'm lucky every now and then.
Okay, and this is Moonrise 1, which is gorgeous.
This is another spot that I go to on a regular basis that I've shot a lot. And I shoot because what happens is there's just this depression that runs out about 5-10 miles. And it allows the moon to come up. The moon's very difficult to shoot.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult to shoot. Again, you know, right time, right place, persistence, doing my homework, doing good reconnoiters, waiting for the moon to come up, and the luck of a cloud bank in the horizon that just obscured the moon just enough for that.
Yeah, great. This one is God's Wake-Up Call.
Another great story. I'm in Wyoming. This is what I was in Wyoming after I'd done Tetons and Yellowstone, and I wanted this. This is called a star trail shot, and it's obviously the Earth rotating. And I had been up till 11:30 or so, getting some shots, and I got some outstanding shots. But it wasn't the shot. It was a shot I'd been working on for a book. It wasn't this shot. It wasn't the shot. So I went to bed in my tent. I'd been camping. About 3 in the morning, I roll over, my air mattress goes psst. And you know that feeling. It's been camping. You're suddenly on the rocks, and you're going, you're trying to make the best of it. About 15 minutes later, it's like, I had it. I got up. I said, I'm up. I might as well go take some pictures.
Yeah.
I got this shot. And
That's
it was
great.
an early morning shot. And then I came back to my camp, knowing that I got this shot, and it was a darn good shot.
Yes.
And I, taking my camp down, I pull out the air mattress, you know, this brand new $120 air mattress that I bought, looking for the hole. There was no hole.
Huh?
Turned out that I kicked open the valve. So that's
Yeah.
why this is called God's wake-up call. It's God telling me, son, wake up. We're not done yet. You've got another shot to get.
Gotcha. Okay, now these next ones, some of your best images bring together nature and man-made structures, especially in the country. And I'm just going to go through these fairly quickly. This one is God's Whisper.
Also, after a storm. Spectacular fall shot with the bean field turning gold.
Yeah, I can see the light again there. Okay, this is Morning Silo.
This is also by the I Hotel. I've been shooting this silo, and I've got some wonderful winter ones, and this one just was perfect. This is right before dawn. Early one morning, it kind of looks like a castle tower.
Yes, it does.
Lit up.
And
It's,
so the light is the sunrise?
The light is the sunrise,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. This is Windmill and Crib.
If you've never been out to the windmills, go out to the windmills. Here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Turn your radio up loud, roll up your windows, drive right up to it, turn it off, and jump out. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right.
But the reason you see some of these windmills gray, the other one's white, is cloud cover.
Right.
Casting shadows on the windmills.
Yeah, but it makes good contrast. Okay, and this is Patriotic Bridge.
Very lucky day out in Georgetown. I was out early looking for something, and I spotted this bridge with the flag hanging, and I came back the next day to get this shot.
Okay, these next images are more urban. This is a postcard from Miami.
Miami, I grew up in Miami. I have, Miami's a beautiful city to shoot. It's a beautiful,
I can imagine the lights
city to shoot. Most
in the
of
ocean.
the stuff that I do, this is probably 3 in the morning. Across the bay from Miami, looking on Brickell Avenue.
Okay, this is the Chattanooga Ironworks.
Oh, I've driven past this building for years. That was another one. 20 years I drove past this building, and I suddenly decided I'm going to stop. I wasn't with my family. I was coming back from Atlanta, and I said, and it worked out. It's amazing how many times things just work out, and this one worked out. They allowed me onto the property without a problem. They said, yeah, sure, no problem. And it's an old ironworks where the buildings had been built onto the end of this longer building, later torn down after they were painted. Just an interesting composition.
Yeah. Okay, this one is Home of Paradise.
This is a crazy story.
Yeah, it's got to be.
This is a crazy story.
Okay.
This is in Fort Pierce, Florida. I'm driving down the road, US 1. I see the sign, Future Home of Paradise. How often do you see the Future Home of Paradise? There it is. Boom.
Right.
It's a bombed out building. I mean, there's no roof on it. I pull over, I take some pictures. I'm walking through it. There's graffiti everywhere. There's little, fires where kids have had parties and throwing bottles, etc.
Yeah.
And I go out to the parking lot. The parking lot ends into a ravine that goes down. And with the equipment that I had, I couldn't get back far enough to see what I saw. And what I saw was in the front, the Future Home of Paradise, and in the back, well, what's the Future Home of Paradise? It's hope.
Right.
Of course it's hope.
It's just
So I'm trying to get this
perfect.
picture, but I can't get this picture because I can't get far enough. So I'm standing on top of my rental car trying to get this picture, and it's not quite high enough, and a police officer drives up.
Oh, geez.
Police officers drive up and ask me what I'm doing. I explain it to him. He looks. He's on his tiptoes. He goes, wow, we're here all the time. Kids throwing bottles and having parties. I've never seen that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He walks back to his car, gets on the phone. About 15 minutes later, a guy drives up in a bucket truck. The police officer called his buddy, who owns a bucket truck, to come out to get me in a spot where I could get up and get this shot.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
You know,
it's a great shot.
collaborative art. I don't know.
There you go. Okay, this is Copper Door.
Copper Door. I shot this in Bloomington. I love this. They had the guy working on this door had just finished this. He was cleaning up his equipment, putting it in the truck. The light was perfect, and it's just that's one of my favorite shots.
Okay. Okay, now you've definitely got a knack for creating some surprising and stunning macros. That's extreme close-ups of common objects, and this first one is leaf crystals.
Yes, and this is actually fog frost.
Oh, okay.
So it's not regular frost. It's different. It crystallizes different. That leaf is no more than 2-3 inches across. And walking my dog, I look down and I see this leaf, and you know why I see it, I don't know. I'm drawn to them.
Yeah.
And there it was.
Okay. Now, this is Leaves of Fire.
Sycamore leaf. Interesting composition. This is a studio shot. I don't do a lot of studio work.
Okay.
But this is a studio shot.
Yeah, I figured it must be with the light that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is Wet Grass.
I was out actually going to shoot something else at Meadowbrook Park. And it was a foggy night the night before. It was very dewy. The grass was just saturated. I started crawling around the grass, and suddenly I hear this guy say, "Buddy, are you okay? Do you need an ambulance?" And I realized all I could see were my feet crawling through the grass. But, you know, if people think I'm crazy, I don't care.
There you go. Okay. Well, I was going to ask how you get the opportunities to shoot these unique macro images. How do you spot those
Wow.
chances?
I don't know. In scanning a scene, for example, I can both see the entire scene and parts of the scene. You know, and I've driven sometimes 20 miles because I know that, you know, I've got to get closer, I've got to get this angle, I've got to go. You know, I try very hard not to go on private property because that gets problematic. But
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you except that that's what my eye sees. That I'm driven to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Recently, you've been experimenting with using LEDs and other types of lighting to create some striking images, such as this first one, Blue Lights Rain into the Sea, which I just love.
It's a lovely shot. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad you like that. That's one of my favorite, and it really got me into doing the light painting. So this is more happenstance.
Okay.
Really, though I knew what I was looking for, and there's a series of these, but it's driven me to try to control more what I can do with lighting at night. And this one actually, a very large example of this hangs at a friend of mine's office in Atlanta. He's a VP of a bank, and he ordered it large, and it's spectacular.
Oh, yeah, it
And
would be.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, this one is Goddamn Crazy Photographer.
Okay, do we have enough time to tell you this story?
How are we doing? Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll try to make it quick.
Go right ahead.
There is, if you drive at night in the country, you will see all these farms. They all have this mercury vapor street light. It casts really interesting shadows. It lights up different buildings differently. And so I'll go out I've been doing this 20 years, 25 years I've been shooting these. And this one in particular, I'm out there, it's 2 in the morning-ish. I don't go on private property. I usually wear a reflective vest. I'll have my headlamp on. I'm taking pictures of this farm. I see the farm, one of the lights go on in the farmhouse. I hear the little forerunner. The farmer comes out, he's got a shotgun. And he's accusing me of trespassing and stealing. I said, "Sir, I'm not trespassing and stealing. I'm just taking pictures." And he says, he's really pissed. "Oh, damn it, you're taking." I go, "Look, I'm wearing a reflective vest. I'm not stealing anything. I'm taking pictures." And at this point, a county sheriff deputy drives up, and the county sheriff, the deputy drives up, and he sees two guys in the middle of the road. He sees a guy with a camera with a reflective vest, and he sees a guy with a shotgun. Who is he going to pay attention to?
Right.
He gets out, and he says, "Sir," and he just put the weapon on the ground. The guy starts screaming, "Damn it, he's trying to steal from me. He's, and I'm standing there like this because I'm not moving. I'm not getting that.
Right.
And he says, the officer says, "Sir, the weapon on the gun. I live here. My son is a sheriff in such county." He goes, "I don't care, sir. I need you to put the weapon." And the police officer goes like this. And I look, and I realize I'm in the line of fire.
Oh, my God.
And I tell the police officer, I said, I'm going to take a couple steps back. And he says, "Don't move." I said, and he goes, 2 steps. And I take 2 steps back. By this point, the farmer puts his weapon on the ground. He is livid. Police officer walking past me, looks at me, he goes, "You're that goddamn crazy photographer."
But you got your picture.
I got my shot.
You got your shot.
Everybody calmed down afterwards. The farmer was happy when I showed him what I was doing, and the police officer kept ribbing. He goes, so you get a lot of burglars out here that wear reflective vests at night?"
That's great. Okay, and this last one is, if a lighthouse
So this is
could dance.
this is what I'm really getting into.
Okay.
Which is, you should see some of the stuff I've got now.
Oh, you showed me some of them. Wish we had more time.
These are this is called If Lighthouses Could Dance. This is in Jupiter, Florida. That's the lighthouse in the background.
Mm-hmm.
These are LED lights that I manipulate on different forms. I won't tell you my secret.
Okay,
But
don't
I
have to.
sculpt with them.
Okay, yeah, you do.
So, and I have them in different colors, and I do different patterns, and there's so much more of this to come.
That's great. I'll look forward to seeing it, and I want to thank you for being with us today, George.
Well, thank you very much. This was fun.
It's been a lot of fun. Okay, our guest today has been photographer Jorge Amaya. You can see his work at his website, jorgeamayaphotography.com, which includes contact information if you would like to see his work in person and hear some more of his stories. We hope you have enjoyed today's show, and we also hope it will inspire you to explore the local art scene and to make your own art now.